Hello everybody, today we're going to learn a little bit about everyone's favourite song of misery, betrayal and woe. We are of course talking about the Killer's perennial dance floor filler and stadium lighter-upper, Mr Brightside. There's a couple of things to think about first. We're chiefly going to be talking about how we're going to perform this as a solo performer, an acoustic artist, right? So I'm approaching this very differently from if I was trying to play this as a guitar player in a band. I'm going to have to sing it, I'm going to have to deliver all the melodies, and I'm going to have to give some sense of the rhythm and the power that the song does when a full band is performing it. How are you going to do that, Rich? Well, I'm going to show you. First thing to remember, that amazing chiming chord, right? This is the thing that we've got to learn so that right off the bat, people know this is Mr. Brightside by the Killers. You don't want to be going for a bit and then get to the coming out of the cage bit. You want people to know exactly what it is. Slight problem. Their amazing guitar player, Dave Kuning, has created this monstrous chord. Now, it's not insane, but if you're a beginner, you could lose a finger. It's a D flat, which is so number 4 on the A, first finger, 3rd fret on the D, little finger doing some heavy lifting here, little finger, not from Game of Thrones, little finger over here on the 6th fret on the G, and then your 3rd finger is paralleling your 2nd finger, 4th fret but on the B. So the sound you should get should be that's fine. But where do you go from there? You can't sing the whole song over that, and also there's no root notes. You can't just stand there doing that. And also, that means the whole song's in D flat, so we're either going to need a capo or we're going to need something else. How are we going to get around this, Rich? I'm going to tell you. What we're going to do, we're going to take it from D flat and transpose it into straight D. Now, it's a tiny bit higher to sing. I realise Brandon Flowers has got quite an interesting vocal range, but I think we can all do it, or you can work around it. So instead of doing that amazing twiddly chord, instead we're just going to take the basics of it and play it into a 2-fingered D. So, like this. Okay, I'm using 2 fingers, we're just going 1st finger and 3rd finger, 1st finger, 2nd fret on the G, 3rd finger, 3rd fret on the B, and we're playing the D string open and the E string open. This leaves you a little bit of room to manoeuvre. If you're feeling very brave, you can go, then your little finger can come over here and play the root note, the 4th fret on the A string, and then your middle finger can do the same job and bring out the root note, the basic note that tells you what chord it is, over here on the 3rd fret of the E, which might go a little something like this. See, instantly people can feel it's going somewhere, they know what the song is, or they're pretty sure. Now, again, you don't have to do that for the whole song. Once you start singing, you're just going to give a flavour of that melodic information. Just so it's running nicely underneath. And if that is a bit too much of a stretch, I'll show you a little different way of doing it. If your little finger isn't quite up for playing the bass notes, instead you could just do a simplified version. So that's kind of like picking out the sadness in the song, like a little bit of a minor scale, but instead you're going D, you can play an A and a G. Coming out of my cage and now I'm doing just fine, gonna be down because I want it all. See, See, it still kind of works. It doesn't have that slightly melancholic heft, but it will still work for you. So yeah, those are the main parts. This song uses what I like to call magic chord sequences, 2 of them, to masterful effect. You've probably seen Axis of Awesome talk about a bazillion rock songs and pop songs that use the same chord sequence. And although that is a really good video, and I recommend you to watch it, and I'll put it in the information down below, it doesn't tell you the full story, because there's actually more than one magic chord sequence. The one that they use for the chorus of Mr Brightside is obviously one of those ones. So we've got like a D, A, B minor, and G. And that is your big kind of, you find it in a lot of pop songs and a lot of stadium rock songs. It gives that kind of, nothing's gonna stop me now, you can't take us down, that kind of. And luckily also, whatever you sing over it sounds great. So it's like, I lost my socks, someone better help me find my socks tonight. See, it still sort of works. It's got that kind of windswept Bruce Springsteen thing. But what they also do is use a different magic chord sequence, probably made most famous by Don't Fear the Reaper and All Along the Watchtower. Those are a couple of songs I want to cover at some point as well. And it goes B minor, A, and G. And it works if you transpose it as well. As a magic chord sequence, you go B minor, D, and C. And that's got a kind of, something bad is on its way. There's a sense of impending doom with that one. That's the impending doom magic chord sequence I've decided. He takes off her dress, now letting me go. So that's all you're going to need to know for that. You're basically going to go, the verses are D, and then an A. And if you're playing the A rather than the picking out the root note thing that I've already shown you, you're going to want the basic A shape, 2, 2, 2, and everything else open. And if you can, snake your thumb over the top there, and make sure you're not getting too much E in the process. And then you're going to want a G. Now I'm adding my 3rd finger on there, on the 3rd fret of the B string. I just think it chimes out more nicely, and also it means I don't have to move it when I go back to the D. Just saves a couple of finger calories, and it makes the chord transitions much smoother, of course. So yeah. Okay, you know I'm doing. Hang on. Shall I do it so that you can see what I'm playing? That would help, wouldn't it? Now run out of my cage and I've been doing just fine. Right? So that's the verse. Chorus. Not the chorus. Pre-chorus, I suppose. Be the B minor. He takes off her dress now. If you are at the beginning of your guitar journey, you may not want to do a great, big, tough bar chord there. Because ideally, what I'd want you to be playing would be 1st finger all the way across, then add 2nd finger to the 3rd fret on the B, little finger 4th fret on the G, 3rd finger 4th fret on the D. But I appreciate that might be a bit of a stretch, so you can try it without the bar chord and just leave the E open. Sounds a little bit more jazzy, which doesn't quite fit with the song, but I quite like it. Or back to our old friend the power chord, in which case you've got 1st finger, 3rd finger, and if you want, add in the little finger, make sure that little finger's working. He takes off her dress now, letting me go. Right? So that's it. That's the verse and the pre-chorus. The chorus is just bits of those stuck together into the magic stadium rock sequence. D, turning saints into the C, A, B minor, and G. And it's just that all the way through. And you'll notice I'm muting a little bit, using my palm, just to give it a bit more rhythm, because I don't have a drummer, I'm not a one-man band yet. So I'm going to want to give a sense of that urgency that the song has. So that's everything, except for I think at the end of the chorus, the I'm Mr Brightside would be. When you get back to that eager eyes bit, you just go A-N-G, I'm Mr Brightside. Now, there's not so many words to learn with this song, but I'm bound to mess it up anyway. But they just do the same thing: first verse, chorus, and then an outro. Before the outro, there's what I'm wondering is possibly quite a nice little musical joke, where they play what sounds almost exactly like Beethoven's Ode to Joy by Lovely Ludwig van. I'm going to talk you through that. Ode to Joy, Mr Brightside. Is that a coincidence? Do we think so? I don't know. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk you through that as well, if you feel brave to add it in. So we've got the D is open, and so the D is going to just give us a little bit of the lower end of the guitar, so that it doesn't sound completely silly, that we're essentially playing a one-person guitar solo. And we're up here on the 11th fret, and we're going to go 11, 11, 12, 14, and then retrace our steps. 14, 12, 11, and then right down to 7. 7, 9, 11, 9. See, it is an Ode to Joy. And then do the same thing again, but take it up to the 14th fret, 16th fret. And then back it down to the 7th fret. Right, and then on the end part, we're playing like a big version of the verse. Right. So yeah, let's bash through that and see if it works for you. Now, I'm also just going to quickly point out a couple of other things. If you just want to play along with the song, I can appreciate going, oh, let's just play it in D. Not quite the same thing. You can obviously capo on the 1st fret and do a version of that. Which would work with the song, but then you'd have to get quite fiddly with the chiming melody. It does work. It does work. I don't like it as much, I'll be honest with you, but it works. And so you can do all of that, just doing it with C, G, and F shapes. Or, if you're feeling very brave, you could detune and go right down into a drop D. Or just any tuning that sounds good. But yeah, so you could try that. You'd have to remember that everything is changed by a full step then. So your G note will be on the A. Upside of this is that it will make your guitar solo sound amazing because you've got a proper bass line, a bass note holding down the lower end then. So you can be going. Essentially are then able to move a power chord up and down the neck. But yeah, that might be unnecessarily fiddly. I'm just going to have a quick tune up because detuning often sends this guitar out of whack. I've had this guitar for a long time and we've come to know each other quite well. There we go. That's it. Okay, but yeah, so this is how I would do it. Dress now, letting me go. I just can't look, it's killing me. I'm taking control. Jealousy turning saints into deceit, turning your sweet lullabies, joking. Because I want it all. Started out with a kiss. How did it end up like this? It was only a kiss. It was only a kiss. Now he's falling asleep and she's calling a cab and he's having a smoke and she's taking a drag and it's all in my head and my stomach is sick and they're going to bed and she's touching his chest now. He takes off her dress now, letting me go. Killing me, taking control. Jealousy turning saints into deceit, turning your sweet lullabies, joking on her alibis. But it's just the price I pay. Destiny is calling me. Open up my Mr Brightside. And yeah, that's how I would do it. Hope you enjoyed that, and please subscribe, have a look around the other videos on the channel. Please give us a like and comment below if there are any other songs that you'd like us to tackle here. Thanks very much, see you next time.